Okay, I hope that's going. I'm gonna quickly double check that it is. This is my first time doing a stream, so I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. How do I'll have to figure out how to change the thumbnail, but I think I'm live. Yep, there I am. Okay. Sorry about that, but so plan for the stream. I'm gonna figure out how this thing works. I was originally gonna take it apart, but it didn't have screw holes and it was getting difficult, and I just noticed somebody else did the work to take it apart and document the pieces. So the plan is, yeah, it's not a great camera position, I apologize. The plan is to look at the parts just to know what possible signal types I'm getting, and then that could hopefully help me get some information about the format of the data. I just realized I need one more USB port. Well, that's great. I'm on stream. Oh, no, I got an adapter right here. So, let's get this thing on. This isn't happening if it won't turn on. Okay, good. Phew, turned on. All right. So I should oh, excuse me. I should be able to welcome. I see people are entering. Hello. Hey. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I use Ubuntu. You have to use your hands. Yes. Yep, I'm a Linux nerd. Hello. Yeah, so I'm just trying to reverse engineer this thing. So I will be able to play the original Tony Hawk using the skateboard. I know if you guys are familiar with this thing, the Tony Hawk Shred skateboard, it didn't do very well. So I don't have great hopes that it'll actually be good, but that is what I'm just gonna see how this goes. So I've connected it to my computer, and let me zoom this in just a little bit. There we are. All right, so LSUSB. So that should tell me the devices that I have connected here. And right here, the Red Octane skateboard controller. So it is bus 05, device 20. And if I remember, I need to Google this again. But there's a way to stream the HID packets. Linux stream HID packets. Yeah, I have a Discord. Right now I have it behind. If you subscribe to if you're a Patreon member, you'll have access to the Discord. And if I could think of better rewards for the Patreon members, then maybe I can make that just public. Because like technically you could just pay for 1 month, get the link, join the server, then stop paying, I suppose. But yeah, I'm gonna mute. I think I'm hearing some feedback in the audio. I'm gonna mute so I'm not risking that. So okay, yeah, I think it's just as simple as you just access the HID device. Yeah, the board's USB, so it I don't know how visible this is. It has a USB plug that connects wirelessly to it, so yeah, works out in that sense. I should have written this down. I've done this before. I think it's just a matter of reading the HID. So if I list the devices that I have, it should just be one of the HID formats here. Okay, HID raw. All right. I think I have to use sudo to read this too. No, there was a command. This isn't gonna work. Hold up. Just Linux read Ubuntu. No, read HID report packets. Yeah, I know, Hydra, yeah. Spaces are helpful. Programmers don't believe in spaces. We don't operate that way. I swear there was just like a one-liner command that I found and I should have written down. I came unprepared, guys. It's just... I think it was using, like, there's like a USB dump. Yeah. Is it just as simple as this? And then I can do, okay, yeah, that might be it. If I just do all of it, then, okay, so that's giving me the report descriptors. So I think if I remember LSUSB, so it's device 20. So device 20 here, so this is just the descriptor. So I've already decoded this once before, but I can just show you for your sake. But HID report decoder. So it has a few standard buttons here, or it so the for like the side of this thing, there's a bunch of buttons on it, and all of those are pretty easy to decode. I won't have a problem with that. But then it has, I was looking at this a little bit before, but there's a section that I think is the light sensors, and then the very end it has down here four 16-bit numbers that it sends that appear to be accelerometer data. I just didn't know the format. Oh. I'm reading chat. Anyway, okay. So we got that. Okay, I think there's a command with this HID dump. Let me just see if there's a help section. There we go. Okay, yeah. I think this is it. So address. So if I do hid dump and the address was 0520. Okay, so that's definitely doing that, but I want port the Wii Fit to N64. You know, I'd like to try to get the Wii balance board to work with the N64. I'm not sure what I'd do with that, but that could be fun. Interface entity. Oh, here we go. Entity stream. So I just do -e stream. Oh. No, that. There we go. Haha. I knew it was this command. Okay. So you can see, for example, if I push the A button, you can see that first byte. I'm going to zoom in on this further, just so it's nice and big. But this first byte that I can't select, as I push these buttons, that's changing these directional pads. So all the buttons are mapped to that first bit. And then, okay, so you can actually see here. So I wish my cursor, how visible is my cursor? Okay, I'm cutting off the data. I'm gonna have to zoom this back out. I can't zoom out. I can only zoom in. There we are. All right. Is that visible now? Oh, I went too far. Sorry, I'm new to this live streaming stuff, so you're gonna have to bear with me. All right. So you can see as I cover the light sensor, so there's 4 light sensors on this board, if you're not aware. And so the idea is that we're playing, you can put your hand to touch the board to do tricks. I'm planning on mapping these to the 4C. And I'm going to try not to cover the microphone. Map those to the 4C buttons, so when you're playing Tony Hawk on N64, you know, you could grab at those. But as you can see, like if you look on the top row on the data, the last like 6 bytes of data, they correspond to these light sensors. So when I cover up this one, that very first one after the section of zeros goes up to like 34. That's 34 hexadecimal, by the way. I'm not sure what that would be in binary, but you can see as I cover it, it goes up, and then when I uncover it, it goes down. And there's 4 of those. So if I find, so that's the back, the next one's the back, and then the one after that's this side, and then that side. So that, I think, would be pretty straightforward to interpret, right? I can just look for, if the data goes up a certain amount, then I consider that a grab. So I can do that with C-sticks. What command did I use? Hid dump. USB hid dump, I believe. Yeah, that's the one. And then there's a command line you can do to stream the data rather than just getting the report. All right. So now the thing I want to figure out now is the motion data. So it's this is what this was baffling me before. I don't know if I had quite. See, I was trying to figure this out before and I gave up, and now I'm trying to do it again, and I figure I'd stream some of the work here. So the next 2 bytes, so these 4 bytes, I wish there's a way I could overlay something, but like there's 4 bytes here. I don't even know if you guys can see my mouse cursor. If you can't, it's very big here. I'm gonna do a screenshot of this, and so I can highlight things. That's not what I wanted to screenshot. Screen. There we go. All right. So these 4 bytes are the mode. Let's just do a multiply. All right. So these 4 bytes are the light sensors that go around the outside. I'm now trying to figure out what exactly these do right here. Because if we come back to the HID report, we can see there are right here these report size of 8, report count of 4. And it's labeled as a usage as XYZ, RZ. I think that's just wrong. Those are the 4 light sensors. And then the next input after that, we have, so it uses the same size of 8, but then there's 12 inputs there. And I don't quite know what that is. And then after that, later, you have the 4 16-bit inputs. So that's going to be, how many did I say that was? There was 8 of 8 bytes. And so I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I must have misread that. Oh, report count 12, port size 8. Let me see, I'm catching up on chat. I'm sorry if I missed things, but could you ultimately map Wiimotes to the N64 with this method? You know, I'd also like to figure that out. That would require a Bluetooth connection, which I could either do a version with the built-in Bluetooth, although there is a product, Retro Blue, that does do Bluetooth. I don't know if they support Wiimote, but I would like to try that out sometime. Yeah. And if I don't have a Bluetooth chip on, you can get Bluetooth USB, and if I had my USB device that you can plug a Bluetooth USB in, and I had drivers for Bluetooth, then in theory I should be able to do that too. So anyway, so I need to figure out what these are. I might have been misreading the HID report. So these two are confusing. So let me show you what I found before, and I'm just going to keep experimenting here. Maybe I'll figure it out this time. So it's the last byte on this row and the first on the next row. So if I try to keep it level, it stays at a pretty low value, and if I tilt it sideways, they both get big. But it doesn't matter which way I tilt it. So I am very confused by that. I figure, I mean, it's useful data, I guess. Maybe they use that for calibration. So if, the board knows if it's laying flat. It's weird they're sending it that way, though. If you can cut out into a chart. Yeah, that actually would be nice. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to extract this data and put it into a graph. I could dump this data to a file and then take that file and parse it, and then that would give me some, and then I'd be able to graph it and hopefully give me better data. Okay, yeah, if I flip it really fast, it gets very big, maybe even a negative number. So I don't know what that is. And then these 4 16-bit integers here, these are the ones this is the one that's really giving me trouble. Yeah, different rotations at different speeds. Because it appears, okay, so if you look at the HID report, or the HID descriptor here, I should zoom in on this just so it's easier to see. So this last bit, so this last bit here is report size 16, but then you can see the logical maximum is 1023. So that's the largest numerical value it can send in the 16-bit integer. And that makes sense, because if you look at the data, you can see this byte here. I don't know if it's probably not coming through clearly on the stream. It probably just looks jumbled, but it's only this zero stable, and this value here only goes like up to 3. And so if you figure, okay, well, that means that lines up with the max value there of what I expect. And then this is a little endian number, by the way. So this is this small. This is the lower bits, and then the upper bits are here, but it's just all over the place. Like if I take this and I put it on its side, none of the numbers seem stable. Doesn't matter where I rotate it, it feels like these numbers are just almost random. So really, I need to figure out how. Yeah, I need to figure this out. I think I'm going to dump to a file, do some movements, and then I can actually I can look at stable numbers. I'm gonna do that next. But yeah, is it measuring accelerations? Yeah, I think so, because I guess this is something I did a little bit right before stream. I found this a website that had the parts from inside here. I was considering taking it apart myself, and then couldn't because screws. I couldn't. I took out any screws I could find, and it still wasn't gonna come off easily. And looking at this disassembled one, I think I might have to like peel off this cover, which I didn't want to do. So I was like, okay, well, let's just see what they have. And it looks like if I scroll down here, so they have like the main motherboard here that has a bunch of connections for sensors, and one of those was nicely labeled with this part number, BMA020, and that's this part, which I have the data sheet here. So I was figuring I could look at to see what data this sends back, and I'm hoping all it is just a simple 3-axis accelerometer with no gyro data, because that's going to be the easiest to interpret. So the summary should tell me, right, what it can do. Digital triaxial acceleration sensor. Yeah, that sounds like that's exactly what that is. I mean, there's a chance it also has a gyro sensor separate, and so it's trying to collect both. So I guess I can't quite confirm. I can come back to this thing here. That's the same part. That looks like that's the same thing. Yeah, as far as I can tell, that's the only motion sensor in here. And that's maybe part of the reason why it's not a very good controller. It's because it's using... It just can't measure movement as accurately as you do if you have a gyro in there. Which is... It's like the Wiimote without the Motion Plus, right? So... I am... Okay, so I think I don't need to look any further. So I have a pretty good confidence that this is acceleration data. My worry is that these 10-bit, 4 10-bit values are actually three values that have been like encoded in a weird way. So I'm gonna stop this, and then I'm gonna dump this to a file. Let's just call it board record. Okay, so I'm gonna first go this way, this way, this way, this way, and then kill that. And so now I'm just gonna use VS Code. That's probably just fine. What did I call it? Board record? Did I put it in the same folder? Well, I was in the root folder anyway. Yeah. So it should be here. Maybe one of you saw it and they're just... Oh, here we are. Being patient. Okay, cool. So we have a lot of data here. We should be able to parse that. Yeah, this is the Tony Hawk controller. I'm trying to use it for N64, but first I need to figure out how it works. It uses USB, so I'll be able to use my USB project. I'm glad you like it, Lukey Luke. It's I tried it briefly, and I don't know, maybe I just need to get good, but I was just having a hard time. All right, so here are the bytes that I wanted to code. So really, I could just code up a quick script to take the data here and then try to. I think really what I want to do is I want to actually convert this to like a take all of the 10 bits that are being sent in the groups of 4 10 bits, yeah, 4 groups of 10 bits. I want to just concatenate them all together and see it's possible that there's like 3 bits of information from the accelerometer being sent across those 40 bits, and the way they packed it was weird. That's my theory as to what's going on here. How to disassemble one? That's a good question. When I went to it, the only screws I could find were under here, and I'm assuming you have to peel off this top cover, which I didn't want to do because I'm assuming there's screws underneath that, so I just didn't. Yeah, so I think the next step here. All right. Next step is to figure out how to parse this information and then combine it. Do I just write a little script here? This is one step, and this is the USB project. Let me just commit what I have. I'm not sure what this was I was working on. I think I just added some tests. So I'm just gonna make a new data parse dot. I'm gonna use JavaScript. I don't know if there's people in the chat who are into Python, but I know JavaScript better, so that's what I'm going with. So I think like the best way to parse this might just to be write a regular expression that expects the new line after this many data fields, and then I can extract. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Just because that should be fine. So if I'm just going to use sampled, I'm just going to grab some sample data. So I don't have to. Okay. Got some sample data. I'm going to grab the data regular expression. Okay, now I'm going to use this style here. All right. And so I think those are always zeros. I can just keep that. This is not always zeros. And then here is the data that I want to parse. It's just going to be a few groups of these W's. 1, 2, okay. All right, but then I want to, I think the new line is just immediately after. So I should be able to just say, and then give me a new line. And I need to say that this is the start of a line. I think it's just a single space at the start here. I'm trying to remember, does this match the beginning of a line with this? I'm just going to test that out and see. Okay, global, multiple, and then I want to capture this data eventually, but I'm just going to do a execute on the sample data, and then I'll just see. Okay, so it did match, and it looks like it matched the line I wanted it to. Cool. And so I want to extract these values. Okay, that matched that group. So, and then, do I know if I just do like I think there's just a parse int, and so if I gave it like 0a and then told it base 16, yeah, okay. So I'll be able to parse those out pretty quickly. So let's just do a parse match. So I'm just going to give it the match of this data here. So there's going to be 8 tuples, or 8 bits of data. Yes, these are good. We are, oh, the bottom of my screen is cut off. Oh, yeah, let me fix that. Thank you. Oh, I see. I think it's a mismatched aspect ratio, possibly. Okay. How's that? All right. So, yeah, and I guess if anybody who just got here and wondering what I am even doing, I'm trying to reverse engineer this guy, and I dumped some data, thinking accelerometer data, and I'm just trying to figure out how that's encoded. So I'm writing a script that's going to take the data and hopefully let me plot it on charts and stuff, so it will look nicer. All right, so we have our match. We're just going to do the bytes. We do a match dot split on space map for on a value. We're going to parse that as an integer, base 16. So that'll give me the bytes of data. And then I want to, let's see. I know there's 10 times 4, there's 40 bits of information on that that's encoded in this thing. I could fit that on a double. That's the default number type in JavaScript. Of course, I couldn't use bitwise operators to build that, or I could just do. I'm just going to start by dumping parallel. And then I'll worry about trying to join them later. I think that's a good start. Let's just convert this to a CSV. So I have the bytes. I want to just return. So the first byte is it's little endian here. So byte 0 plus byte 1 times 256. I'm just going to repeat that, and yeah, there's probably a better way to do this more elegantly, but you know what? You're writing a short script. I don't think it matters. All right, so that gives me that. So let me just import the file system, and then we're going to do. I'm going to parse and write the parse file first. This is just going to be the file content. And then I just do let match is equal to execute on the file content. And then while there's a match, we're going to have to rerun that match at the end here. And then I want to parse the match, so I'm going to put the result in an array. Result dot push the parse match, and then match, I think it's, yeah, it's going to be the first index into that, so the information I want, and then I just return result. Okay, and I think I'm going to try a console.log parse file fs.read. Fs. Is it not auto-completing for me? I have to Google it. Fs, I think it's just called read file sync, right? Yeah. Okay. And I just give it the file name, and then I can give it the encoding. I don't think it's necessary. It should do. Read file sync. I'm not sure why I didn't autocomplete. And then we're going to copy this file path. Got that. I'm going to remove this console.log. All right. And so, oh, come on. All right. Looks like we got some data back. That's good. So now I want to say this is the data, and I'm just going to dump it as a CSV really quick, which I think would be as simple as doing fs.write file sync. I'm going to put it in the same directory, but just call it a CSV. Should I zoom in a little bit, by the way, on the text? I just realized I could maybe zoom in a little. Or is it okay? Hello, undersampled. I will assume it's okay, but say if you want it. Yeah, I'll just do one and then see how that goes. Okay, write file sync, and then I'm just going to do a data dot map row dot join on a comma, and then join the full map, everything else on a new line. And if I run that and then open up, there should be a board record CSV. Here we are. Okay, so I should now be able to come here to Google Drive. Let's just make a new sheets. All right, so let's import that. Pop-ups in UI, I don't know. I feel like UI designers, I don't know, maybe I'm different from most people, but whenever something pops up on a UI, if it's not what I want to, if it has nothing to do with what I want to get done, I don't even read it. I just go straight for the close button. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem helpful to pop things in front of my face when I'm trying to get work done. I'm just gonna close it. All right. That should probably be okay. Okay. Here we are. Okay, so we imported the data. And so now I'm going to see what this looks like if I insert a chart. Okay, it just looks like random data. That's what I was worried about. There does not appear to be any, and I'm going to use a line chart just because, yeah, that helps. Okay, so I think what I'm going to need to do is I want to try to re-encode this actually as binary, like concatenate everything together. I'm hoping what they've done is they've taken the three accelerometer values and packed them together into the 40 bits of data broken across the 16 bit values. And so if I can see where, yeah. So I'm reading the chat. Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing HID reverse engineering. I'm trying to figure out how this device works. It was for the Wii. So yeah, this looks like randomness. I'm thinking, okay, so if I take this data, I'm just gonna all right, but I'm gonna modify this, so rather than returning 4 bytes or 4 numbers, I'm gonna try to join this. What can I just format it as binary? Is there a, I should know this, JavaScript to string binary. Is that what it would be? Okay, so parse int 2, yeah, I know that. Okay, this is going the other way, right? Oh, I see. That I need. Is it just a 2 string with a parameter? I think that's all it is. JavaScript number 2 string. I think it has an optional. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shouldn't have doubted it. So now I should just be able to do this 2 string 2. And same thing with these. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and dump this back as a CSV still. So maybe I can get a look at that. All right. Hey, look at that. A bunch of binary. Okay. And then they are, I want to pad it up to 10 bits. So that way it's all uniform. There's no some sort of like pad. Pad. I don't think there's a built-in way to do a pad. Is there a pad start? Oh, look at that. It exists. All right. So I'm guessing this means how wide you want it to be plus what you pad with. So if I just do dot pad start 10 0, dry people might be yelling at me right now to not be repeating this and make a function out of it, but okay, there we go. So now this is the raw binary data. Don't know if I see any patterns. Let's see. And then just want to make sure I did least significant bit first. So like, so if I'm looking at, so let's just say come up here to the board record. Maybe this is a good sanity check actually to make sure I'm actually doing things right. So this should be 02. Oh, maybe I wasn't even grabbing the correct data. Let me, I'm gonna print the match. Just do kind of a sanity chill. No. Okay, I'm using JavaScript. What? Make a game that uses the skateboard. Yes. I'll the spell casting game, you have to cast spells by doing sick tricks on your skateboard. All right. I'm just going to double check. Okay. Yeah, that looks like it's lining up, right? A6. Yeah, okay. I probably should have done this before I continued onward, like verify my assumptions, but yeah, that seems to be working. Although the CSV here, the very end. Oh, I might have the endianness swapped, and if that's true, then my diagram was invalid. So, yeah, I think I did that. The this is a, no, wait. Okay, something's wrong with my number conversion here. I'm gonna go back to, I'm just gonna do, all right, I'm writing the function. Convert number, small byte, big byte. So I'm just gonna return this, but now this is little endian. I was saying, well, no, yeah, little endian. So small byte times big byte. So I'm just going to bytes 0, bytes 1, 2, 4, 6, 3, 5, 7. Put that back. Let's just make sure it's oh, I have a comma. Comma operator, one of the weirdest operators if you've ever dealt with that in coding. It feels like it was one of those things they made because we can, not because you should. Okay, no, wait, no, this is right. This is right, because I was thinking I should be looking at, like, for some reason I was thinking these 4 bits was corresponding to the 3 here, but that's not right, because these 8 bits correspond to the A, which A2 corresponds to A2. So that's the 2, and then that's the A. There we go. And then that's the 3. Okay, so no, I got that right. Say, coding man who's running the stream, where would you recommend people learn this sort of wizardry? I mean, I haven't used a lot of ChatGPT, but I don't know if it seems like it's a pretty good resource, but I know I learned before that, so that's just kind of how I go. Best way to learn is just to do. You just start trying things, right? Like, and whatever you can manage to figure out, you do that first, and then you slowly grow your abilities. So it takes time, but yeah, try Googling things. Just build whatever you can. Okay, so I'm able to decode these numbers. And so what I'd like to be able to do is get this binary data live, which means like I'd have to make this script actually pump in data from this tool. I'll see if I can figure it out without doing that first, but I guess what I could do, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to record more data. I'm only going to record it on one end, and then flip it and record the other. So I'm going to call this front, type my password, okay, and I'm going to flip it upside down, and I'm going to say this is back. Okay, and now I really should modify this to accept a command line argument. This is the input file, and then it's just going to be process.argv. Let me see, it's going to be 2, I believe. is with the because yeah, node takes the first, the script is the second, third is going to be my input, and then I'm going to take that and drop that there, and then I'm just going to do a replace of .txt and replace CSV. And so I should be able to run this, but use board record, just make sure it's there. Okay, front. I'm gonna copy this. I won't copy full path. All right, and then back. So if I open up these now, front and back CSV. Okay. So when it's on the front, okay, where this just look like a sea of numbers. Have I explained my choice to use Node? I'm very familiar with JavaScript. I know that's not a great reason. I know JavaScript sucks in many ways, but when I want to just write something quickly, JavaScript and Node is my go-to. So if I just need to get some information down. So okay. Does any of this data look meaningfully different between the front and the back? I'm not seeing anything. And this is the, maybe this is why I think this board sucks so much, is the data that comes out of it is just garbage. I could be yeah. Yes, any language is beautiful, except for PHP. It's been a long time since I've used PHP. I probably hate on it more than I should. At this point, I'm just on board with the meme of hating PHP. But yeah, no, but in all seriousness, if you code in PHP, you can make fine things with it, like Facebook, for example. I just prefer not to use PHP. Okay, I just don't see any patterns. This is... I was hoping the binary would reveal something, but I really just don't see. Okay, so I'm looking at the big endian. Maybe if I swapped the data order here, I reverse these arrays, if it would reveal something clear. And maybe I don't join. Okay, I'm gonna try not joining this with commas. I'm just gonna join with a string here. So I'm gonna run these again. So got the front and back. Just scrolling up and down to see if there's any bits that consistently are ones or zeros. And it looks like for a moment these are consistently ones. Because I figure like if there is a chunk of data that's supposed to be a single number value, then like that range of numbers, if I'm trying to hold the board still, would be stable and relatively stable, and you'd have either a bunch of ones or a bunch of zeros if it's sending over a number. But I don't even see that. Like, I don't know. I'm lost. Yeah, PHP is fine. So, I don't know. Any thoughts? I don't know what to do from here. It seems like this is garbage data. I don't think they wouldn't I don't think they'd be compressing or encrypting anything. Certainly not encrypting. I don't know. There'd be no point in that unless they were trying to run exactly what I'm trying to do right now, which would be silly. All right. Do I go get the ISO for the game and decompile it? See if I can track down the code that interprets the USB data. That seems like that would be excessive. I don't think I want to. I don't want to go there. So, okay, yeah. The only thing I can see stable are there's these two ones here. So I could maybe see this is the start of a negative number. Yeah, the ISO would be fun. Okay. Sitting on it. That's a good. That's good to know. If I actually manage to get this thing to somewhat work, then maybe I'll be sitting on it to play. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting close to where, as far as I wanted to be streaming this, I was hoping I could end with at least some good information about this, but I feel like is this one number? Because I'm seeing, huh? Like there's just that stream of ones, and then if I do, no, I don't know. This isn't going like I had hoped, but the 12th rightmost bit on the left seems somewhat consistent. What about keeping it perfectly still and seeing if any bits still change? I mean, that's good. That's a good thing. I should try that. The last 16 bits look like a type. Oh, you know what? That's actually a good thought. If it's sending a type, then it's not going to be a discernible pattern. It could be like maybe it's sending the XYZ data in separate packets or something like that. That is the last 16? Right. Because that's like the same. Okay, but that only shows up in 3 cases there. No, that's not a bad thought though. Maybe there's some type info. And then if I come back here and if I just stream this, so if I let's try like keeping it perfectly still. So you can see I set it down. It's sitting still, and this data is still going wild. So that's what has me very confused. I see a column that is all ones nearby. Okay. Oh, you know what? Maybe I could take the bits, I could figure out the frequency of ones and zeros and like what ratio, what percent of each column is 1 versus 0, and that might give me some information. Yeah. JavaScript is the best. Yeah, it's definitely what I think one of my better languages. Since doing N64 development, I'm getting better at C, and I'm actually finding C to be quite a bit of fun. The ones could be sign bit. I'm not sure what that means. The ones, right? Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. So like the ones, like there's like this column seems to be a lot of ones, and so what that can indicate is that it's a negative number. Is what you're saying? Like that's the most significant bit of a negative number. Yes. Or what are the chances that these are floating point numbers? Like, what's the smallest float that's kind of standardized. I think I've seen as small as 8 even, 8 bits for a float. These are 10. I hope it's not floating point. I mean, it could be. I'm gonna figure out the percentage of bits in each column. Like what percentages is. I was thinking that at the start could be floats. Yeah, I might have to look into that. And also, sorry for the slightly awkward camera angle. My desk setup is... I need to get a better small tripod. My tripod isn't one that could fit on my desk. But that's all right. So I'm going to come here. Here are my rows. All right, so that's my rows. I'm gonna doing that. Okay, so I want to figure out percentage of ones in each row. So to do that, I just need to loop through. Let me see. I know that the number of bits I have is 40, right? Yeah, 40. So I'll just do a fixed number. So do for, I'm going to do a %1 is equal to rows dot, this is just going to be an array, and then I'm going to loop over the 40, and then I'm going to one count is equal to 0, and then we're just going to loop over row of rows. So I have to mark that as const. All right, and then I say if row I is equal to a 1, then I say one count plus equals 1, and I say %1 dot push one count divided by rows dot length. I'm going to say 2 fixed because I want it to be consistent. And then I mean, I could just append this. It's kind of, I'm just going to append to the end of the file. %1 join. Definitely want at least a space between these numbers. So if I were to rerun front and back, all right. Okay, yeah, so we have some here. The high percentage ones. Of course, I think for this to be more meaningful, I want to collect maybe a bit. Oh, look at this. That column is always a 0. Except, when it's on the front, this is always a 0. When it's on the back, it's always a 1. So that's something. That's something. So the gyro is sensitive enough, we might not be able to achieve perfect stillness, but we see one of the bits is, yeah. Could data really be hashed? Yeah, I don't know. So I think this, I mean, that has to be, so this is the third bit in, which is the most significant bit on this byte here. So if I hold it this way, I'm seeing lots of F's. If I hold it this way, I'm seeing nothing but F. Hold up. That doesn't seem... It seems like I should have not seen any F's. Okay, but definitely, if I'm holding it up this way, that is almost... That's very close to stable as an F. Whereas on this side, I mean, there's still zeros, but yeah, that's weird. That's the weird part. Is it feels like I can maybe see something emerge when I tilt it, but it just doesn't. It just still not making sense. And like this most significant bit, most significant data of this 10-bit chunk that's being sent in the HID report, it seems like that's just random, right? Like it should be a 0, 1, 2, or 3, and it doesn't matter what I do, but at the very least, okay, well, I'm making progress. I don't know how I missed that this was always a 1, but there we go. I guess, okay, yeah, it's always a 1 on this one over here. All right. Okay. Yeah, I think I found some actual usable data. Yeah, and I think I want to analyze. I mean, this bit here, if I come back to my sheet, just add a new one. I'm gonna have to add commas between these. Let me just do that really quick. All right. So if I feel like if I plotted this, it would be easier to tell. Can I paste options? Split text columns. There we go. Okay, so that one was the front. This is the back. All right. So if I were to plot this now, insert chart. No, I want lines. Okay, but I don't want it two-dimensional. Column? Is that gonna... I'm not sure what that's doing. Can't the software just read my mind and know what I want? Okay, yeah, the stacked column chart isn't exactly what I want here, but it's not too bad. Okay, so there's also this bit, it seems like on the red, which I should... So the back position, it's one, the third one is a 1. So that's back is red. Okay. So these are close to 0, although both of them are close to 0. So if I were to, okay, I'm gonna do the side now. I'm gonna record the side data. So I'll just do left, right. I don't know which one will be left or right. I'm just gonna call it left and right, and then, well, let's see. I should actually. Okay, so this is the front. So this would be right. So I'm gonna do right down. I'm just gonna have to. Okay, so do that, and then left down as the other. All right. Okay, hopefully that's enough data. So right down and left down. So let's go ahead and open these up. Board left down CSV, right down CSV. Okay. Okay, that looks like a good amount of data. So let's label this, insert a column. So this one I just grabbed from right down. And then this is going to be left down. So left down. All right, cool. The chart automatically automatically expanded for me. And I forget this one, 0 in the second. Okay, so that's front. I don't remember if it was front down or not, so that's not very helpful. But hopefully this still is useful. All right, so I think left down would be green. Can I add labels to this now? Use column B as headers, yes, but I want the data range to start at A if that's the case. There we go. That third bit, this one right here, right, because when the left and right down, they're pretty well balanced, but then the back, it's a 1. This bit here is pretty well. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any bits that have a good split. Okay, this one right here has a good split. Left down is almost never a 1. Okay. So if this was if these were let's see, I'm trying to think of, if they're a floating point, what would we expect? Well, for starters, I feel like there'd be a sign bit, right? Right. If the gyro is mounted on a 45-degree angle, or oh yeah, and I guess true. And what about and what if the 0, 0, 0? What if there's like a bias? In fact, I think that's actually common with these sensors. There's a bias, and so it could be that it always points in some direction, and so I have to calibrate it so that 0, 0. Yeah, no, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, so I was hoping I could at least pick apart boundaries here between the actual information, the bytes of data. And here's the thing is, like, the accelerometer is sending 3. I have the data sheet for the accelerometer. It sends 3 values, triaxial. I haven't verified if it's sending anything else. Maybe if I just looked at the data sheet, it would say, here's the number of bits that we're sending. I should probably just do that really quick. That could make things make a lot more sense suddenly. If I can just find 4-wire SPI bit transfer. Okay, when read access requires sequences of 1 control byte to define first address to read, followed by data bytes. Okay, but that's just so you want to read an address and then it sends it back. Is that what I'm reading? When write is required, sequence of 2 bytes are necessary, 1 control byte to define the address to be written, and then data byte. Okay, well that's 4-wire digital interface. Okay. The controller better be optimized for snowboards kids. I definitely would like to make it work with that in that game. That and what was it? Well, snowboards kids is fine. Yeah. Okay, I feel like I get impatient when reading data sheets. I should probably actually slow down and read some more text instead of just reading headers and stuff. General description. Okay, let's look at the table of contents. control registers, status, data registers. Okay, there we go. So, page 21. All right, here we go. Page 21. Acceleration values are stored in the following registers, and so that's, I think, the address, right? 2H 7 through 6. Okay, yeah, look at that. So this is a 10-bit value because it's saying bit 7 through 8 on this address and all of the bits on this address. So that is what we are seeing. So it's 2's complement. That's expected. From negative to positive accelerations, the following sequence for measurement range. So it goes from negative 2 Gs, which is the furthest, the smallest value it can send, to near positive 2 Gs at fully saturated. Okay. Data is periodically updated. Rate 3 kilohertz after the value from digital filter. LSB accelerated bytes must be read first, so least significant bytes must be read first. Okay. So there's so the problem I'm running into is that it's sending 4 values. What if I shake it really hard? It says it maxes out at 2 Gs. Can I get some data saturation? If I just swing this, I'm gonna break something. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I think I might end the stream here soon. Just, I need to think about what I feel like there's this chart shows that I'm finding something. Like there's this bit here is meaningful. I'm able to determine if it's front to back. I don't have a similar bit for side to side. I was hoping to find a side to side bit, but the leftmost column seemed to respond to the movement. Yeah, let me check that again. Leftmost, you say? So like if you're talking about like the very far leftmost, this one is weird in that like it seems like that this byte and the one before it tell me how level it is. So if it's close to 0, it's fairly level. But no matter which way I orient it, it seems like it has a value close to what would be like 48. So a value between 32 and 48. So like I don't know what that. I guess that could be something like. My guess is it tells the software if the skateboard is on a level surface. So you can use calibration, but yeah, move it fast. I'm moving it fast. I can swing this around. I don't know, like it feels like my biggest question mark is when I set the board down and it's doing almost nothing. This data is just super noisy, which could just be like the sensor is just really noisy. I guess if you look at the rightmost date, the bit here, that's mostly a 0 or a 1. If I put it on one side, it's hanging around zeros more. If I put that on the other side, do you see that? I don't know if you can see which byte is in the. I'm looking at this byte right now. If I hold it on this side, let me just get it to sit still. It's like a 0 or a 1. If I flip it over, it's a 0. Oh, there we go. I can get it to be a 2. So what bit would that be in my chart? That's going to be bits. Oh gosh. It'll be like bits 9. 9 and 10 from the right. Oh yeah, so this guy right here. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Interesting. So this bit, and it's about even when it's flat, although it's, so that could just be a bias problem. Like the fact that it's not always a 1 could just be that the accelerometer is not calibrated, like the center point's not accurate, so I need to do a proper center point. So that's probably, so that would be one bit, some of the information. And then okay, free fall recording, that's a good idea. Anybody have access to, I don't know, skydiving equipment? I could just toss it as high as I possibly can, hit record, hope it doesn't go out of range, and then hope to catch it. That could be fun. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here. I'll probably I'll keep working on this and like trying to analyze this data offline. And I mean, if I'm so I plan, so live streaming. If people end up liking these live streams, I'll probably do it on most Tuesdays. That's the night I have to kind of just be dedicated working to projects once a week. So, I mean, I find other time to do coding, but I don't have a chance to sit down and be uninterrupted. So I'll probably do streaming. I'll just be streaming what I'm working on, whether that's going to be, trying to figure out controllers, programming stuff, working on the game. So, yeah. So if you like this, then just keep in mind, most Tuesdays I'll stream. If I'm in the middle of working on a video, I probably will be doing that instead of streaming. But yeah. So thank you all for watching. I wasn't sure how this was gonna go, but I appreciate all of you. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'll definitely be doing some N64 libdragon programming at some point on stream. So you guys have a great rest of your whatever time of day. So